My name is Emily, and I am 72 years old. This house I live in, it feels empty now. The walls are silent. The rooms are cold. And my heart feels heavier with every passing day. I lost my husband, Robert, just 2 weeks ago. Cancer took him after a long, painful battle that lasted 2 whole years. He was not just my husband. He was my best friend, my strength, my reason to wake up every morning. Now that he is gone, the silence is louder than ever. We lived in this house for more than 40 years. Every corner holds a memory. Every photo on the wall whispers a story. And most of those stories include our son, Adam. Adam was our only child. We loved him more than anything in this world. We gave him everything: our time, our love, our savings, our dreams. When he was born, Robert and I cried tears of joy. We watched him grow, take his first steps, say his first words, go to school, and dream big. We cheered for him at every school play, sat proudly at every graduation, and held him close every time he was scared. He was a bright boy, full of energy and ideas. We always told him, "Follow your dreams, Adam. We will always be right behind you." And we meant it. After college, Adam met a girl and got married. Robert and I were happy for him. We thought our family would grow. We imagined Sunday dinners with laughter and grandchildren running through the halls. But everything changed. After his wedding, Adam started calling less. Then the visits stopped, and slowly the silence grew between us. At first, we thought he was busy. Work, marriage, new life, we understood. But then, even on my birthday, he did not call. Even when Robert got sick, he did not come. I remember sitting by Robert's hospital bed. He was so weak. His voice was barely a whisper. But his eyes searched the room every time the door opened. He was waiting for Adam, hoping he would walk in and say, "Dad, I am here." But he never came, not even once. He kept a brave face, told me he understood, but I knew his heart was broken. A father never stops waiting for his son. And as the days passed, Robert's body grew weaker, but his hope, it stayed strong. Right till the end, he believed Adam would show up, but he did not. I cannot forget the night Robert passed away. I held his hand, whispered in his ear, "I love you, Robert," and watched as he took his final breath, still waiting for the son who never came. I sat there, alone, in the dark, feeling angry, confused, and shattered. Why had he turned away from us? Did we not raise him with love? Did we do something wrong? Or had the world changed him more than we ever imagined? These questions keep echoing inside me. I try to remember the boy who used to run into our arms after school. The boy who said, "I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad." The boy who promised to never forget us. But now, all I have are memories and silence. And in this silence, I sit every day talking to Robert's photo, asking him if he has found peace. As for me, I am still looking for answers, still waiting for the sound of Adam's voice, still hoping that one day he will come back and explain why he left. A few days after Robert's funeral, the house felt even colder. The flowers from the service had wilted, just like the dreams we once held. I sat in the kitchen, staring at 2 cups of tea, one untouched. It was a habit I could not break. Every morning for 40 years, I made tea for both of us. My hands still moved from memory, but my heart knew he was gone. Then, something unexpected happened. The doorbell rang. It was late afternoon, and I was not expecting anyone. When I opened the door, there he was, Adam, standing on the porch with his head lowered and his eyes avoiding mine. For a moment, I could not speak. Part of me wanted to slam the door. Another part wanted to run and hold him like I used to when he was a little boy with scraped knees. But I just stood there, and he finally looked up. "Hi, Mom," he said quietly. His voice trembled. His eyes looked tired, guilty, even. I heard about Dad. I came as soon as I could. Tears filled my eyes, but I held them back. "As soon as you could," I whispered. "He waited for you every single day, and you never came." There was silence, a heavy silence that said more than any words ever could. "I know," he said softly, "and I am sorry. I should have come earlier. I should have been there." I stepped aside. "Come in," I said, still unsure if my heart was ready. He walked inside, looking around like it was the first time. The living room still held Dad's scent, his favorite armchair, his walking cane near the wall. I saw Adam glance at it, and then look away. We sat at the table. I watched as Adam tried to speak. "I do not know where to begin," he said. "After I got married, things changed. Life got busy. Work got harder. There was always something going on. Too busy to call your parents." I interrupted. He looked down, ashamed. "I thought I had time. I thought I could come when things settled, but I kept pushing it off. And then it was too late." I finished for him. He nodded slowly. He looked at me, tears forming in his eyes. "Mom, I made a terrible mistake. I stayed away because I was afraid that I had stayed away for too long, that you and Dad would hate me. So instead of fixing it, I kept running." My heart cracked a little more. I wanted to scream, to cry, to tell him how much pain his absence caused. But I also saw a little of the old Adam in his eyes. "I do not hate you, Adam," I said softly, "but your father died waiting for you. And that kind of pain, it never leaves." He nodded, his voice barely a whisper. "I know. I have to live with that now." We sat there in silence for a long time. Then he reached into his pocket and pulled out an old photo. It was the three of us at the beach years ago. I had forgotten that picture even existed. "I keep this in my wallet," he said. "I look at it every day. And every day, I wish I could go back and do things differently." I took the photo in my hands, my fingers trembling. "I wish you could too," I whispered. That night he stayed. We did not talk much, just sat together. The silence between us had changed. It was no longer full of anger, but filled with grief, regret, and a small, fragile hope. He left the next morning, promising to return. And this time, I hope he means it. Days turned into weeks. Adam started visiting more often. At first, it was once a week, then twice. Slowly, he was becoming part of my life again. But something had changed in him. He was not the same cheerful boy who used to run around the garden. Now he was quieter, more careful with his words, like he was afraid of breaking something that was already fragile. One afternoon, as we sat in the living room sipping tea, he looked at me and said, "Mom, I want to tell you something." I looked up, surprised. "What is it?" He hesitated. Then he said, I am getting divorced. The words hung in the air like a storm cloud. I am sorry, he added quickly. I know this is not what you wanted to hear. I stayed quiet for a moment. Then I said gently, Are you all right? He gave a small, bitter laugh. I do not know. Maybe I deserve it. I spent so many years chasing success, ignoring everything else. My marriage, my parents, myself. I reached out and held his hand. You cannot change the past, Adam, I said softly, but you can still make the right choices today. He looked at me with eyes filled with pain. I wish I could go back. I wish I had come home earlier, been there for Dad, for you. Tears formed in my eyes. I spent so many nights wondering what I did wrong. I whispered, wondering why my only son stayed away. He squeezed my hand. It was not you, Mom. It was me. I was foolish and proud and scared. We sat there in silence again, but this time it was not empty. It was healing. That evening, we went through old photo albums, page after page, memory after memory. Robert's smile in every frame, his laughter frozen in time. I showed Adam a letter his father had written a year ago, a letter he never sent. In it, Robert wrote, Dear son, I do not know if you will ever read this, but I still hope. Every morning I wait, thinking maybe today you will call. I am proud of you, no matter what, and I love you, even if we are far apart. Dad. Adam read the letter with trembling hands. Then he broke down. He cried like a little boy, and I held him like a mother who had waited far too long. For the first time in years, I felt something shift inside me. Not just sadness, but peace. Robert had forgiven him, even before he asked for it. And now it was my turn. I looked at my son and said, You have made mistakes, yes, but you are still my child, and I still love you. His tears did not stop, but his shoulders softened, like a heavy weight had been lifted. That night, he stayed for dinner. I cooked his favorite, baked chicken, with rosemary, just the way his father used to love it. As we sat down to eat, he looked around the dining table. This house still feels like home, he whispered. It always was, I replied. You just forgot the way back. He smiled, a real, gentle smile, and for the first time in a long time. So, did I? The days after that felt different. Adam started coming by more often. Sometimes he brought flowers, sometimes groceries, and sometimes just himself. We would sit and talk for hours about his childhood, about Robert, about the mistakes that still lived quietly between us. One evening, as we were watering the garden, Adam turned to me and asked, Mom, do you ever regret not leaving? Not starting over somewhere else? I looked at the roses blooming beside the fence and smiled gently. No, Adam, this house, this life, it had love, even when it had silence. I stayed because of hope, and I stayed because your father's memories live in every corner. He nodded slowly. I wish I had known that earlier. You were too busy running, I replied. But the good thing is, you finally stopped. He chuckled softly. I did. That weekend, Adam invited me to his apartment. It was a small place. Quiet, clean, but lonely. He showed me a drawer full of unopened letters. Letters from his ex-wife. Letters from friends. Letters from me. I held one in my hand, tears stinging my eyes. Why did you not open them? because I thought they would remind me of everything I lost. He said, now I realize they are reminders of everything I still have. I hugged him. In that moment, I felt like I had gotten my son back. Not the perfect version I used to dream of, but the real one, the one with wounds and courage. Later that evening, we sat on his balcony and watched the sunset. Adam said, you know, sometimes I still hear Dad's voice. I looked at him. What does he say? He smiled. He says, be kind, even when it hurts. Especially then. My heart ached, but in a good way. That sounds like him. I whispered. Then Adam said something that surprised me. Mom, I want you to move in with me. I blinked. What? Not forever. Just for a while, he explained. This apartment, it needs warmth, and I need you. I laughed gently. Are you sure you can live with me, nagging you about dishes and dirty socks? He grinned. I think I can handle it. We both laughed. That night, for the first time in years, I packed a small bag and slept in a new bed. It was not just a change of address. It was a change of heart. Every morning, Adam made coffee, and I made breakfast. We talked. We listened. We healed. One morning, as we were sitting by the window, Adam looked at me and said, thank you for not giving up on me. I reached for his hand. I never did. I just waited. Tears welled up in his eyes. You are stronger than I ever knew, he whispered. I smiled. No, Adam, I am a mother, and mothers love, even in silence. Weeks passed, then months. Living with Adam felt like turning back time. But this time, we were careful, kinder, softer. Some days were still quiet, but not because of pain, because of peace. One Sunday morning, I was baking cookies, his childhood favorite. The smell filled the kitchen. Adam came in, rubbing his eyes. That smells like home. I smiled. It is. He took a bite and said, Mom, I am thinking about visiting Dad's grave. My hand froze. For a second, that place, that goodbye. I had not been back in years. Would you like me to come with you? I asked gently. He nodded. So we went. Together. It was a windy day. The sky was soft gray, the kind of sky that holds both sadness and comfort. We stood quietly before Robert's grave. The name carved in stone, still strong, still painful. Adam bent down and placed a rose on the ground. I am sorry, Dad, he whispered, for leaving, for being angry, for not understanding your silence. I placed my hand on his shoulder. He looked at me. Do you think he ever forgave me? I looked at the gravestone, then at my son, the same eyes as his father, the same sadness. Yes, I said softly. He forgave you the moment you walked away, and he loved you every second after. Adam closed his eyes. A tear rolled down his cheek. I just wish I had one more day with him. I squeezed his hand. We all do, Adam. But sometimes healing begins with what we do next, not what we lost. We stood there for a while, saying nothing, just letting the wind speak for us. Later that night, we sat on the balcony again, watching the stars, just like Robert and I used to. Adam said, You know what hurts the most? What? I asked. That I spent so much time angry, when I could have been learning from him, from you. I nodded. We all waste time, Adam, but the heart is like a garden. If you take care of it now, something beautiful still grows. He turned to me. You really believe that? I smiled. I do. Look at us. We were broken. Now we are rebuilding. That night, I wrote in my journal for the first time in years. Grief does not end. It changes. It becomes quiet. It lives beside you like an old friend. And sometimes it brings you closer to the people you almost lost. In the months that followed, Adam found a job he liked. He started painting again. He even made a new friend, a gentle woman named Sarah who loved books and had a laugh like sunshine. He introduced her to me one evening. I liked her right away. Later, Adam asked, "Do you think Dad would have liked her?" I smiled. He would have liked that she made you smile again. That was always his wish for you. As the seasons changed, so did we. We were no longer just mother and son. We were survivors of silence, builders of broken bridges, and now friends. One evening, Adam hugged me tight before bed and said, "Thank you, Mom, for staying, for waiting, for loving me when I forgot how to love myself." I looked at him, my heart full. I never stopped. "Adam, love does not give up, not a mother's love." He wiped his eyes, and I knew the silence between us had finally ended.